guys, Ride the Nerd here, and think back to a couple years ago where I did plush reviews non-stop. Now, if you are new to my channel, I make plushes. Usually I don't start my videos like this, but just in case, just to, put my, self out there, I guess. But think back to a couple years where I used to do a lot of plush reviews, and I kind of stopped. Now, the reason why I stopped was because I still make plushes, by the way. Don't think I gave up on that hobby. I will never give up on that hobby. But the plushes that I've made are my own original characters. I used to do kind of like both, where I make original characters, and also, characters from movies or TV shows that I really like, and I just wanted to make plushes of them. But I kind of stopped with that, and I've been making my original characters. So I don't think anybody would actually watch, a video about, a plush that I made with original character with lore behind it. And some of the characters that I have made are for future videos, which are probably not going to come out this year, or later this year, I should say, or something along those lines. I still haven't thought, something else crazy might happen, and then it will get pushed back. But now, the reason why I'm doing a plush review now instead of, forever ago, was because I really just wanted to make a plush, battle version. Now, my most popular video is, a plush version where I take the audio from a film and take that scene and make it into, plush version. It's pretty epic. I love making those, and then I kind of stopped after a while. But ever since I did my video on top 8 Disney villains, which you can go check out that video out, I mentioned that my 7th favorite Disney villain is King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph. And I completely forgot that Wreck-It Ralph was even a thing. Until I was looking back on, the Disney villains I really enjoyed from making that video. And ever since that video came out, I've been rewatching some old movies that I used to watch as a kid, and Wreck-It Ralph was one of them. And Wreck-It Ralph was one of my favorite movies when it came out back in 2013. Wait, has it really been that long? Holy shit! Yes, it was a long time ago. But it was a long time ago, and I still really enjoy it, and it still really holds up. And I mentioned this in the actual video, but King Candy's Cyborg form is one of my favorite, character designs ever. And it really influenced my character design, stuff like that. I take, inspiration from that design, and I have not, this is my first version of King Candy in the Cyborg form. I don't know why it took me this long to actually do it, but yeah. And the reason why I'm making this video now is because when I did the plush version of Ralph versus King Candy, which you can go check that video out as well, and I wanted to do this video because I wanted to show you what he actually looks like, because in the video you don't get a good look at him, mostly because the final battle, you don't really get a good look at him, and stuff like that. Sorry for rambling. That's not what you clicked on this video for. Let's just move on to the thing that you clicked on this video for. So let's bring him in. Now, if you've been keeping up with my plush, my plush videos for a while, you would know that my Lord Shen plush is actually my longest plush ever. Not the largest. Brain still holds that throne, that crown, I should say. But he is in fact, the largest. But Lord Shen is the longest. Ever since I made King Candy over here, from the tip of his crown to the very tips of his little bug things over here, he is now the longest plush that I've made by a couple of inches. So Lord Shen is still close, but King Candy has taken the crown. He has dethroned Lord Shen. So since he is so long, it's gonna be kind of hard for me to actually frame him. So just bear with me. Now, I wanted to make him as close to the film as possible. So I took many screenshots, looked at many videos, and I did use some fan art for reference, for colors, that is. Because in the film, the final battle is very dark, and there's a red sky and everything, and it kind of obscures the colors that he has. So I used fan art for color-wise, like the bottom of his chest here. It was really hard to see what his actual chest color is since it's so dark and stuff like that. So I use some fan art to see the belly here. So it is kind of yellow. So I use that as well. And some of the, kind of points over here, I use that as well. I really like this plush because, he is, my favorite character design, and I'm glad that I made him. But I've also added some new features, which right over here is the candy necklace neck. Now, in the film, his neck he turns into a candy necklace neck. So I was going to make the neck out of felt and just, take the different colors that he has and just make it with felt, but that would make the neck a little too thick, and it would be a little hard to bend, and also it would just weigh the head down a lot more than it already is. So I found these little beads here in storage in my art cupboard, I guess you could call it. So I had to use these little beads here, and I'm glad that I found them, and I'm glad that I found them in the colors that the neck actually is. And there is a black pipe cleaner there, and they are not glued in here, because if it was glued, it would just be a lot of pain to actually pose the neck. But the neck is still, in fact, posable. So I could just move the beads out of the way to actually, get them in pose and stuff like that. So if they weren't glued in, I couldn't move them, and it would be hard to pose. Now, right over here, this is, in the film, he actually has some kind of red wires going around in his neck, but the red wires are actually supposed to be on this side, and there are some red wires according to some fan art in the film. He does have some red wires over here, but I only included one on this side, mostly because that was a mistake by me, stupid me, and also I didn't want to add more wires on the actual side here, because that would just make it too cluttered, and I didn't want to make it too cluttered. So going back to the kind of body over here, the legs were also kind of a challenge because he does have a spiral pattern on the legs here, and I just found out that he does not have a spiral pattern on this kind of section right over here, only on this front section. Or maybe he does. A lot of fan art just depict him with these spirals all around his legs, so you can blame some fan artists for that. But I'm not sure how accurate that is to the film. And each of his legs are posable with pipe cleaner as well. Now I can use this for, shots and stuff like that I used in the video. But it's also for stability reasons, because if it wasn't pipe cleaner, it would be, I kind of want it in a specific shape so it doesn't warp and anything like that, and stuff like that. And speaking of pipe cleaner, he does have a pipe cleaner in his actual torso, or his whole body, I should say, so I can get it in some really crazy looking poses here. And the kind of bug ends over here, they're not posable, they're just loose bits of felt. Now, these right here are the wings here. Now, I did make wings, but they're just really, they're just flat pieces of felt with nothing interesting, and they were just held on by some Velcro. Nothing interesting. I made them on the spot because I forgot to make them. So halfway through, filming that entire video, I had to, kind of improvise with some felt and Velcro. But I'm glad that I still had this. Oh, I got some hot glue residue on my finger. But he does have, these are when his wings are retracted. And in the film, the actual retracted wings, they have some like shimmer to them, so I guess it's like sugar grains or whatever. And I'm glad that I still have this felt. This felt has been in my felt bucket, I guess you could call it, for years, and I've never actually found any use for them, and I'm glad that I did, and I still have that, so good. And it actually captures, it really looks nice in the lighting, so I'm glad that I still have that. And I forgot to mention, he does have some bendy wire in these two front legs here. They don't have anything, special about them. Going to the actual arms here. Now, the arms are a little weird because it's kind of hold on by the kind of spiral here. I did that spiral pattern again. And it's kind of, the arm is made out of two sections. You got the smaller section here and this larger arm section that holds the hand and everything like that. And they both have bendy wire in them, or pipe cleaners, I should say. I'm just going to call it pipe cleaners or bendy wire, whatever. But, so I can, make the arms move and bend, so I can get some really cool looking poses with that. Going to the hands here, I try to, kind of recreate that little, kind of cuff that he has, and I don't think I did a very good job at it because it's very tiny and stuff like that, and I didn't want to make it too oversized. But the fingers, on the other hand, they are individually posable with pipe cleaner, obviously, so I can get some of that really, kind of sinister poses and stuff like that with the fingers. Really nice. Same thing on the other side. And going back to the head here, now, if you've seen my video, you would know that I try to recreate the glitching effect that he had from, going back from his King Candy head to his Turbo head. And I did, in fact, make a separate head to go along with that. And here it is. Here's the Turbo head. And it's not as detailed as the King Candy head over here, but I still think it's pretty awesome. And if you're wondering how I switch the heads back and forth, I just use my good old Velcro here. So I just kind of slide it in there, snip it on. It's pretty pretty good. It's not going to flop around or anything like that. So there you go. Glad that I integrated that feature there. But yeah, there you go. And I tried to recreate his kind of evil looking crown. It's a little floppy, but it doesn't look too bad from the front anyway. And the face here, I didn't want to give him like a bland expression. I tried to give him that sinister smile. So I think I did that pretty well. You got the bow tie there, very nice. But yeah, I think I did a fantastic job on this plush. And I hope that you guys can check out that actual video because I had a fun time filming that video. And I also had a fun time making this plush here. It's got to be one of my favorites that I've made from movie-wise, that is. And if people are wondering, am I going to do a video on Ralph or anything like that? No, I'm not going to do a video on Ralph because it's just so small, and I only made him kind of an accessory to go with King Candy here. And he's not that very detailed anyway. He's very basic, nothing too, spectacular about him. But I feel like everybody wanted to see what I did with King Candy over here because he was kind of the star of the show in that video. And I try to get him as much of good, kind of good shots as possible and as accurate to the final battle as well. So that's going to do it for me, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this kind of short little video here. Well, it's not short. It's like 12 minutes long, but you get the point. But I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't care what you do, but you guys know what time it is. So, bye, guys.